What I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This is such a schizophrenic Charlie Day and Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the yarn in the basement, Pepe Sylviaing things together to try and explain why Russia invaded Ukraine. It all leads back to Joe Biden. It's a Joe Rogan clip. Hey, have they released literally any evidence? Have they released any audio recordings of Biden admitting to the crimes? Have there been literally any indictments? Have there been any credible witnesses that have come forward that weren't literal foreign agents of hostile nations? Before I watch this, can you answer me yes or no on that front yard shield? Yeah, impeach Hunter Biden. In the entirety, I'm sure some evidence has come forward. So you don't even know. I'm telling you, I do know. And there isn't any. Because otherwise, they would have brought it up as an impeachable offense because the Republicans had a majority in the House, a much larger majority until recently. It was slim, but it was larger than it is right now, which is a 1-vote majority in the House. They would have absolutely brought it forward as an impeachable offense. Instead, whenever people want to say, oh, Biden is corrupt, they link me Joe Rogan clips. They link me YouTubers whose entire channel is solely devoted to shitting on liberals. Where is the logic? Where is the logic in that? Where is the critical thinking? Like, oh, well, I know that there's 98 indictments or 98 counts of indictments against Trump across 4 jurisdictions. Across all these jurisdictions, they have all presented at least some of the evidence that they're going to present in court to the public. They have people who are swearing under oath for their testimony under penalty of perjury, going to jail. There are stakes in it for them. And yet, when it comes to evidence for Biden's corruption, even though the Republicans have done this mass scale investigation into Hunter Biden to try and find some link to Joe Biden, no one has been sworn in for a deposition where they have presented literally any evidence whatsoever. The majority of the time that I ask for evidence and people present it, it's people who are not in government at all, who are not privy to any of the investigations going on in the House, who are not privy to any of the information going on in there. Whose evidence is stronger? In what world does a logical person look at these two sets of allegations and say, I think Biden is the more corrupt and guilty person? It's actually brain dead, like simpleton, like actually moronic, disabled, mentally type thinking. It's schizophrenic. It is wholly self-serving to what you want to be true rather than what is true. You want Biden to be more corrupt than Donald Trump. So instead of looking at the evidence and letting that lead you to a conclusion, you're hoping for a conclusion and reaching and grabbing and fighting and begging for any little piece of information, any piece of evidence, anything that could possibly reaffirm so that you don't have the cognitive dissonance in your tiny conservative dog shit ivermectin rotted brain to get rid of the cognitive dissonance. It's actually it's horrible for you. It's horrible for you. Because I can't baby talk conservatives for the rest of my life. Oh yes, well I know that sometimes, you know, liberals and people from cities and people who are more affluent and liberal can be a little bit smug about their level of education. Yeah, and that really sucks. And yeah, I mean, like the mRNA vaccines, those are really new, and that can be scary sometimes with new technologies, especially when it's being injected into your body. Yes, I totally understand where you're coming from. Yes, Trump does have a bunch of indictments against him right now. I understand why you would feel like that's targeted. And it's like, bro, I couldn't be a caretaker for someone who is, at least I don't think so. I don't think I could be a caretaker for someone who has schizophrenia. I don't think I could be a caretaker for someone who is like actually mentally delusional and scared of everything, but very sure about some things. I couldn't do it. Because I see how I react to Trump supporters. And I know I would snap. And the only reason that I have like a doubt in my mind, maybe I could actually be a caretaker if like someone in my family like had a traumatic brain injury or something or had schizophrenia. Maybe I could be their caretaker because I love them. And the only reason why is because like at least a person who has an actual mental deficiency that completely destroys their perception of reality, at least they have an excuse. At least they have an excuse for why they don't perceive the truth of the world or the facts of the matter the same way that I do. Even though we all have access to the same information. I don't have access to classified documents, neither do you. But we can go on the internet and just search. And after we search everything, at the end of the day, you never find any substantive evidence of corruption in the Biden family besides a bunch of like allegation, innuendo, and like a couple of people who have been, you know, either outed as like literal foreign agents trying to disrupt our government, or they're loony bins who listened to those people on the internet. Then
things like involving Ukraine that were very big, that happened very recently in American history, that very much connect to this war. And one is that our last president was impeached over a thing with Ukraine. And like, what was that? And then the other thing is the current president's
the former president was impeached over a thing with Ukraine. That's doing a lot of legwork because he was withholding aid to that country. Because remember, the war in Ukraine with Russia hasn't been going on since 2022. It's been going on since 2014. There's been a civil war, both directly funded by Russia and supplied by Russia, and in several cases, even like with troops from Russia through the Wagner Group in Ukraine fighting against Ukrainian forces. We've been giving them aid for a long time because of that. And Trump was withholding aid to Ukraine for blackmail on Joe Biden in order to change the way the election was going for him. How does that have a direct connection?
Son was getting paid millions of dollars from a company, Burisma, in Ukraine. And these things all connect. And basically what happened was after the two...
Is this dumb? This simpleton, this remedial going to say that Russia invaded Ukraine because they don't like Biden? Or because it's a deal with Biden? What is I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This is such a schizophrenic Charlie Day and Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the yarn in the basement, Pepe Sylviaing things together to try and explain why Russia invaded Ukraine. It all leads back to Joe Biden. Corrupt Joe.
2014 coup. This company, Burisma was in bed with the old government that had allied with Russia. And so when this government was overthrown, they were very worried because they were like, oh, we were in bed with the old government and now there's this new government who's in there. And so instead of bribing the new government, they just went right to the source and bribed the son of the sitting vice president. Joe Biden, when he was vice president, was in charge of Ukraine policy. So they just went, that was why they put him there. And then they put some other like CIA guy or something like that.
In all of the investigations, there's not been a single cent that could be traced from Hunter Biden's account to Joe Biden's account that would make anybody think that Joe Biden is benefiting from this? Even though he's getting paid millions of dollars every year?
That on their board. They're just paying him money to just be like, hey, keep us in with you. Is that there's two things like
you send me this thing. What is he saying? He's implying that Hunter Biden is getting financial compensation from this company, which was true. Then he connects it by saying, in order to get in good with the vice president by paying his son millions of dollars. And the proof is where? In all of the multiple investigations into Hunter Biden, both from a special counsel out of Delaware and the House committee, whatever committee it was, where they got access to his financial statements to the point where they could find out that he did tax fraud. Well, I don't know if it was tax fraud or if that's the same thing as like, I forgot to pay my taxes for 2 years. Well, for tax violations. They had enough financial information to find that out, but they couldn't find the financial information that connected Hunter Biden to Joe Biden with Ukraine. That, like, when you heard this, Front Yard Shield, tell me, when you heard this, did like literally any of that cross your If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube or follow me on Kick. And, we have the memberships on YouTube. We have the subscriptions on Kick. If you guys want to, throw a couple of bucks my way, there are some nice little treats for you. Different emotes and different AI things that the editor can do for you. All right. I'm really bad at promoing. I love you guys very much.